Attention homeowners. Quicken Loans has some very important information regarding the U.S. government's Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. Nearly 3 million homeowners have already taken advantage of this fantastic money-saving program. But there are so many more of you who could be saving hundreds of dollars every month on your mortgage. Quicken Loans is here to help you save money. Why Quicken Loans? The home loan experts at Quicken Loans fully understand the HARP guidelines. We'll work with you to understand your specific circumstances and strive to find the financial solution that's best for you. Then we'll guide you through each step of the mortgage refinance process to make sure that it's both simple and easy. If you weren't HARP eligible in the past, new guidelines could mean that now you are. Give us a call and we'll give you a Quicken Loans mortgage review. It's simple and easy. To learn more about this money-saving U.S. government program, call Quicken Loans today or go to quickenloans.com for a mortgage experience that's engineered to amaze.
You're going to want to watch 7 a.m. on AMHQ.
This is a big weather morning.
The biggest weather hour anywhere. What you watch in the morning matters.
Let's get weather geeky this morning.
Make AMHQ your morning show. America's morning headquarters. Weekday mornings starting live at 7 Eastern on the Weather Channel.
Every Sunday, a new tale of weather legend. American Supernatural. Sunday nights at 10 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 84 degrees under cloudy skies. Today, variable clouds with scattered thunderstorms. High 87. Chance of rain 50%. Tonight, thunderstorms early. Low 70. Chance of rain 80%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Engineers its tires, not just for performance, but real life performance. So before you get in, get going. Get gone. You need to get a tire that gets you, because life's a road trip. Come on, let's go. Buy 4 qualifying Cooper tires and get up to a $70 prepaid card by mail. See retailer for details.
At the end of the day, my hands are beat up.
Especially during the winter times, hands are splitting, cracking, making it very difficult to do my job.
O'Keefe's Working Hands. Guaranteed relief for dry hands that crack and split.
Best stuff we've ever used.
It just works.
Learn more at workinghands.com.
Sir, we're loaded and getting ready to go. We're going to need you on the runway.
Don't let a severe cold hold you back.
Sir?
Theraflu starts to get to work in your body in just 5 minutes. Theraflu breaks you free from your worst cold and flu symptoms. Theraflu, serious power.
Remember the hassle of vacuuming before the Dyson DC59 Motorhead? Before our direct drive cleaner head increased brush power to outclean the 5 best-selling full-size vacuums across carpets and hard floors without the hassle of a cord.
Don't let back pain limit your life. I'm Arlene Mandrell, the Mandrell Sisters, and I'd like to share a solution with you.
Get the DDS 500 with no out-of-pocket cost to you with Medicare and other major insurances. The only patented back support that provides adjustable traction. The DDS 500 adjusts to your comfort level and fits discreetly under.
My name's Mark, and at 17, I became addicted to heroin. I was lying and stealing from the people that loved me the most. I wasn't a son, a brother, or a friend anymore. I was this monster. I wanted to stop, I tried to stop, but I needed help. The treatment center was there to love me back to health when I didn't love myself. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, there is hope. Give the treatment center a call today.
Maxwell's is now open in the Driftwood Plaza of Jupiter. Gold, silver, coins, diamonds, jewelry, paintings, and objects of art. If you don't want it or wear it, sell it to Maxwell's. We buy and sell diamonds of all sizes, clarity, and condition up to 10 carats in size and above. We have decades of experience buying and selling gold, coins, diamonds, and objects of art. Maxwell's, located in the Driftwood Plaza on US 1 in Jupiter, Florida.
There's no obligation, so call toll-free at 1-800-200-6120.
Every Sunday, a new tale of weather legend. American Supernatural, Sunday nights at 10 on the Weather Channel.
And we have a lot to bring you today when it comes to weather. We're talking severe weather as well as tropics, but you're looking right now at two views of the White House as well as radar showing you strong storms moving through the D.C. area. Right now we're having reports of straight line winds and bringing down trees and power lines.
Yeah, according to Doppler radar, there was a little rotation, so there was a tornado warning out on this particular thunderstorm, but turns out that straight line winds move through the Alexandria, Virginia area, but still those winds up to nearly 60 miles per hour.
Yeah, that's right. We continue to track the severe weather out there, but of course we also are focusing on the tropics. A lot going on out there.
Yeah, we have Gonzalo in the Atlantic, and it's headed toward Bermuda, but we're also looking at the Pacific to the beautiful island of Hawaii.
Yeah, that's right. We want to bring in a hurricane specialist, Michael Lowry. Michael, you have a lot to tackle.
Yeah, I do, Jen. Very unusual for a hurricane to be threatening Hawaii. We're going to talk about Ana in a minute. I want to start with Gonzalo. There have been hurricane hunter planes that have been flying literally right in the center of the storm all morning long. Two types of planes we're looking at. This big cargo plane, the C-130 from the Air Force, that was flying in earlier. I'm going to show you information that we're getting live in real time from that plane. Also, there's a NOAA propeller plane that took off from Tampa just a few hours ago that's also flying into this. So let's show you the tracks of these different aircraft. They're flying really low at about 10,000 feet, so just above the ocean surface, and making a pass right through the eye of this Category 4 hurricane. Winds in Gonzalo at 130 miles per hour. This was the Air Force plane. That one is now headed back because it took off from Homestead Air Force Base much earlier than this one here. It's Relief, the NOAA plane that's come in. And all the while, they're giving us all sorts of good information that we can show you in real time from the plane as they're literally in the middle of the storm. And this is what you're seeing here. Each one of these bars is representing an estimate of the wind from the airplane as it's flying into the storm. And you can see early on, there was a wind observation of 133 miles per hour. This was at 9:04 Eastern time. And it was that particular observation that let the Hurricane Center, or allowed the Hurricane Center, to upgrade this from a Category 3 hurricane. That means winds of 111 to 129 miles per hour to a Category 4 hurricane, winds of 130 to 156 miles per hour. So clearly the maximum winds here are right square in a Category 4 threshold. Now, if we fast forward just a little bit, they made another pass from the south. So the plane went from the south side of the storm to the north side of the storm. Winds weren't as strong because the worst of the winds generally on the east side, not the south side. But interestingly enough, as they were flying, they found a maximum wind of 110 miles per hour, okay? A little dip in those winds, and then a second max, a wind estimate of 95 miles per hour, which is telling me that this is undergoing what we call an eye wall replacement cycle, meaning there's a second wind max that's forming on the outside of that primary ring right around the hurricane. What does all of that mean? Well, it means that the storm probably leveling off in intensity right now, but its wind field is expanding, so it's getting bigger. That means it could have some possible impacts to Bermuda down the road. So let's talk a little bit about that. I want to show you the visible picture. It's very impressive. We're losing the eye, that cloud-free eye that we were seeing earlier, starting to cloud up. That's because that primary eye is now contracting in and that second eye beginning to take over. But let's show you the latest information that we have from the National Hurricane Center. As I was saying, 130 mile per hour, Category 4 hurricane, about 600 miles to the south-southwest of Bermuda. The pressure is 949 millibars, pretty much, as I said, leveling off, moving northwest at 12. Here is that track forecast from the Hurricane Center. Now the cone of this, a little bit to the west of Bermuda, but remember, a storm just isn't a point on a map. It's a very large circulation, so those tropical storm force winds at least are going to be over Bermuda sometime on Friday, early morning hours. That's really the worst of the conditions that we're expecting. Maybe even those hurricane force conditions, maybe even stronger than that. We'll break this down a little more coming up in a bit, but I want to show you what else is happening in the tropics, including Ana. That is that latest tropical storm in the Pacific Ocean, right there in the Central Pacific Ocean. The latest information that we have from the Hurricane Center is showing that it is a 70-mile-per-hour tropical storm, about 600 to 700 miles from Hawaii. And Jen and Vivian, this headed in that direction. We'll have more coming up in a little bit. Back to you.
All right. Thanks very much, Michael.
All right. Well, plenty more ahead in the next hour of Weather Center Live, including an update on the severe weather threat for millions of people across the East.
Yeah, we're tracking these storms for you.
Currently in our area, 84 degrees under cloudy skies. Today, variable clouds with scattered thunderstorms. High 87. Chance of rain 50%. Tonight, thunderstorms early. Low 70. Chance of rain 80%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Wednesday, October 15th, and the severe weather threat continues. Ahead on Weather Center Live, we're breaking down hour by hour what you will see from New York down to our nation's capital. A tornado warning just expiring there in the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, in just the last 72 hours, unfortunately, the storms have actually killed 2 people, and we've had 25 confirmed tornadoes and hundreds of storm reports today. Those storms are tracking into the Northeast, and we're here to help keep you safe.
Then a bullseye on Bermuda. The island is bracing for the strongest hurricane to form in the Atlantic in the last 3 years. Winds 130 miles per hour. Then there's Ana. It's in the Pacific and slated to move closer and closer to Hawaii. Our expert analysis on both of these storms right here, right now on Weather Center Live. Thank you so much for joining us for Weather Center Live. I'm Vivian Brown.
And I'm Jennifer Delgado. Our October severe weather outbreak is still going on, and we're tracking into the Northeast. In fact, here's a live look at New York City as well as D.C., 2 areas that we are watching. You see it on the radar. It is lit up. Well, for the D.C. area, you just had a tornado warning there. Since then, it has expired. Rough storms now moving into Baltimore. Flash flooding is also possible. Some of you could see 3 inches of rain, while others will be dealing with damaging winds and the chance of an isolated tornado. Here's Vivian with more.
That's right, Jennifer. This is the area that we're watching today as all of those storms move through the Mississippi Valley in the southeast the last couple of days, but now they're headed for the mid-Atlantic, the red shaded area. That's really where we think those storms will turn severe. Already around D.C., we've had a tornado warning. It has expired because that particular thunderstorm has weakened a little bit, but nonetheless, here's a look at the current radar. Again, these are the individual thunderstorms that have kind of broken off from the main area of very heavy rain that's pushing through the region. This is a particular thunderstorm that's moved through the D.C. area that did have that tornado warning. It has weakened quite a bit at this time. We did have reports, though, of straight line winds that move right through Alexandria. Those winds in excess of 55 miles per hour, up to about 58 miles per hour, I do believe. But the thunderstorm cell continues to move to the north and northeast. So if you're in any of these these areas, including the Savage vicinity, within the next 15 minutes, and you certainly want to be on the lookout for very, very strong winds. Also, we've had some dangerous lightning strikes associated with these storms as they move off to the north and northeast. Also, this is a look at the wind profile associated with these thunderstorms. So we're watching the greens and the reds, and whenever they connect like that, that indicates a tight rotation with some of the storms in the clouds. So we're watching that very closely, again, as they move off to the north, northeast. So we'll be here, of course, keeping you safe. Jennifer?
All right, well, we talk more about the forecast and what we're going to be looking at. Activity dipping the jet stream, all this moisture being fueled and pulled up towards the northeast as well as even into New England. This is going to be producing some of that heavy rainfall. We're talking about the potential for some of that flash flooding out there. Timing this out for you, we look throughout the afternoon. The dew points are still going to be in the 60s and the 70s. And you say to yourself, well, what are you talking about the dew points? We're talking about the amount of moisture in the air. It is really sticky out there for today. Luckily, the temperatures aren't so bad. Now we time this out for you for D.C. as well as for areas down towards Wilmington. You're going to be looking at the greatest threat today for some of these storms to be producing some of the stronger winds as well as the hail out there. But if we look at D.C. and we kind of show you and we show this off to you, you can see the clouds are going to be in the forecast. Your main threat, heavy rainfall as well as the downpours. The main timing is going to be today through the evening hours. And then for areas like Philadelphia, it comes a little bit later, but it's also going to last until about 5 a.m. So heads up to you. Over to you, Viv.
Well, whenever these storms move through the northeast, you can expect travel delays. Here's a look at the latest in terms of major delays expected later on as the storms get closer to the New York City area. So if you're flying into, out of New York, just make your plans accordingly. Philadelphia, much of the same. D.C., even Raleigh in North Carolina, as all of those storms move off to the east. Now, here's a look at some of the tornado reports. Since Sunday, we've seen a lot of dangerous activity. Here are the specifics of the tornado reports. You can see here 29 reported tornadoes across 9 different states. 25 of those have been confirmed. Homes smashed, trees toppled and thrown across the yards. It's a scene in Monroe, Louisiana here after this week's deadly tornado outbreak. An EF2 tornado tore through the Garden District on Monday. Today, our own Ron Bloom has a look at the damage left behind. And Ron, a lot of cleanup to do.
There is. You know, we're beginning the third day of cleanup because this happened at 11 on Monday morning, and it is such a tangle to get into. You can see behind me a lot of utility trucks that are staging. They're a vital part of this. They've got to disconnect some wires from some poles that are still standing and leaning before the heavy equipment can move the trees. But, you know, some of those trees still have to be cut and secured before the utility people can safely get in. So it's a real delicate dance between the arborists, between the heavy equipment operators and the utility crews, and they are slowly going through. That's why power restoration is taking so long. What is amazing, though, is the amount of damage in this 20 or so square block area of the Garden District here in Monroe, Louisiana. Huge trees, some 200 years old, fell on houses or next to houses. And for people inside, it was a scary moment, even when the tree didn't hit them. Let's listen to one woman.
I just grabbed her and put her in the hallway and had mattresses around us. And just waited until I thought everything was over. And I checked to make sure there was nothing on the house. Like, I looked to make sure the windows were still intact. And then I looked outside and saw this huge tree laying here.
The staging area behind me, the chainsaws going across the street, all of this coming together to try to get things back to normal in Monroe. But, of course, the miracle here is no loss of life, not even serious injuries, which is incredible considering how many tons these trees weigh that came tumbling down all in a period of just a couple of minutes on Monday. That's the story in Monroe, Louisiana. Let's send it back to you.
And it is so good to hear that there are no major injuries, no fatalities with all of that damage around, but you can replace things. Thanks very much, Ron. Well, I'll tell you what, Jen, things are clear over the south today, but there are other areas that we're watching in terms of storms.
Yeah, that's right. The line of storms we've been watching all week has one more stop before it's all gone. Let's take a live look at Philadelphia. And next we'll show you how much rain is moving in. And then we'll take you back down south for more on that cleanup effort, the devastation left behind in the days of recovery to come. Then conditions could be going downhill once again for Bermuda. As we also want to tell you, we have a new tornado warning, and the tornado warning is actually for the area that you're seeing right there on your radar, not far away from Laurel, the counties that include Prince George.
We used to have so many empty rolls. It felt like we were flushing money away.
Mom!
That's why we switched to Charmin Ultra Mega Roll. It's Charmin quality and long-lasting. With more goes per roll, it pays to use Charmin Ultra Mega Roll.
Charmin Ultra Mega Roll is 75% more absorbent, so you can use less with every go. Plus, it even lasts longer than the leading 1000 sheet brand.
For us, Mega Roll equals mega value. Cha-ching! We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin Ultra Mega Roll?
At CVS Health, we took a deep breath and made the decision to quit selling cigarettes in our CVS pharmacies. Now we invite smokers to quit too with our comprehensive program. We just want to help everyone, everywhere, breathe a little easier. Introducing CVS Health, because health is everything.
This week on America's Morning Headquarters, going green sounds great, but can you do it and stay high tech? Gadget guru Jen Jolly shows us the tools we need to go eco and tech all the way. This week, starting at 7 on the biggest weather hour anywhere, America's Morning Headquarters, only on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 84 degrees under cloudy skies. Today, variable clouds with scattered thunderstorms. High 87. Chance of rain 50%. Tonight, thunderstorms early. Low 70. Chance of rain 80%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
On camera.
Oh my God.
Tonight, tomorrow night, every weeknight. Wild weather at 8 on the Weather Channel.
Maybe you didn't know, people with the flu can spread it up to 6 feet away. Or that flu can make chronic conditions worse. Or that experts say anyone who lives or works with infants should be vaccinated. Maybe you didn't know all the stuff your Rite Aid pharmacist knew the whole time. But maybe, since you already went and got your flu shot at Rite Aid without hassle or appointment, maybe you didn't need to know any of that. Rite Aid. With us, it's personal.
My feet felt so heavy at the end of the day.
They used to get really tired.
Until I started gelling.
I got Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insoles.
When they're in my shoes, my feet and legs feel less tired.
It's like walking on a wave.
Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insoles.
I'm a believer.
How did I set a new personal record today? I started with a test run. Then I got a solid night's rest in a great room. And before I hit the road, I hit the breakfast bar, where I got my fuel for the next 26 miles.
Great endings begin here. That's why at Choice Hotels, we give you cozy rooms, free breakfast, and right now when you take 2 separate trips, you earn 1 night free. Book now at choicehotels.com.
And welcome back. You're watching Weather Center Live. We have a new tornado warning now that has just been issued. This is for the area that is near Laurel, and you can see where Baltimore is. This gives you a better idea. Here's Interstate 95. If we can lift this view up a bit more towards the top of the screen here, for the counties that included Anne Arundel, as well as Howard and Prince George's. Now, keep in mind, we're showing you as we can lift this radar view up. This actually just moved out of the D.C. area where we also had a tornado warning, and we're hearing reports of some straight line wind damage. But as we show you right along Interstate 95, then we're going to add in some storm relative velocity and kind of see if we can see some of that rotation out there. But we timed this out for you: 114 for Laurel, 122 for Jessup, and then for Catonsville, 135. So heads up for you, take cover. Again, we do have a tornado warning right now in effect. Now, this is the lightning. Now we add in the storm relative velocity, and it looks like we could be looking at a little bit of rotation there. Maybe we can zoom in a bit more so we can kind of see some of the tighter cities there. That's 2 295. And again, we're looking at Laurel, so this is certainly the area that we are watching. It's moving to the northeast at a pace of roughly about 35 miles per hour. So we gave you a track there so you can time it out to try to take cover as the storm continues to move over towards the northeast. Again, we're looking at this potentially producing a tornado. This is radar indicated. Timing this out for you, 119 Savage County as well as 129 into West Elk Ridge. So certainly some big cities out there. Maybe if you're trying to fly out of into Baltimore, BWI, certainly this is going to lead to us a lot of delays, especially all across the northeast where we're looking at bad weather out there. Again, tornado warning in effect until 1:30. Over to you, Vivian.
Well, a weather alert came into Washington, D.C. while services were about to start at Arlington National Cemetery, and that meant that cemetery officials had to scramble to keep everyone safe. Joining us on the phone now is Jennifer Lynch at Arlington. Jennifer, tell us what happened.
Well, at 12:34 p.m., we received a extreme weather warning, and which called for a shelter in place for our visitors and our employees. And we moved visitors into the lower level of the amphitheater, and we held visitors in our welcome center, and we delayed funerals for about 30 minutes. And we have 25 funerals scheduled for today.
25 funerals scheduled for today. What did you see, actually?
Well, I was actually in my office, and so I missed the extreme weather, but I could hear it outside, thunder, lightning, and you could hear the rain.
Have the services resumed at this time?
They are probably about to begin with the 30-minute delay. So we have 1 o'clock. We had one 12:45 service, and that started at the chapel at Joint Base Meyer-Henderson Hall. And then we have a number of services starting at 1 o'clock. So we're going to be, holding those for 30 minutes.
Was there any damage? I mean, we had reports of straight-line winds over 50 miles per hour. Did that blow away any awnings or chairs or anything?
I don't have any reports of damage. We received our all clear at 12:55 p.m. So it was a fairly short period of time, and we'll have crews out assessing if there was any damage.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Laura. As we continue to follow these storms as they raced across the D.C. area and continuing to move off to the northeast. So tell us more about those storms, Jennifer.
Yeah, we are continuing to track that. That is our second tornado warning we've had in about the last hour. The first one coming out of D.C. now, another one coming out of the Baltimore area. Same cell moved out of the D.C. region, out of 495. This is Baltimore. Tornado warning showing you an area just to the west of Laurel. As we zoom in a bit more for you, here's our tornado warning until 1:30 time. Counties included here, and Arundel, as well as Howard and Prince George County. Now, as we show you, we kind of zoom in. This is 495. This is Laurel. This is the cell that we're watching. As we lift this up a bit more, and then we're going to add in to see if we can see some rotation out of there. If we can pull this up a little bit more, James, if you will, so we can kind of see a better idea. This is the area of Laurel. This is where we're looking at that rotation possible there. So certainly if you're in that region, make sure you are taking cover because this is a radar indicated tornado possible. So certainly we'll continue to track this. Be safe.
Let's do a reality check. Kids will be kids. Dogs will be dogs. So let's get some paint that's more than just paint. Made to stand up to this and look beautiful for years. Let's lose the old marks and messes and stop new ones in their tracks. Let's worry-proof our walls. Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
Bear Premium Plus with Easy Clean Finish starting at $25.97 a gallon.
When we say the all-new Chrysler 200 is all new, we mean it. We used the latest tools and built a new state-of-the-art manufacturing plant. We gave it new smart technology. We challenged conventional thinking with a more intuitive design. And we set new expectations of what an American sedan can be. The all-new Chrysler 200, America's import.
Andrew, Rita, Sandy. Meet Chris, Jackie, Joe. Minor damage or major disaster. When you need us most, we're there. State Farm. We're a force of nature, too.
client when you accept credit cards with Square. There's one low rate for every card. And you see money in your bank account as fast as the next business day. Schedule appointments, send text reminders, and learn how to keep clients coming back with real-time sales reports. Take care of your business with Square. Get started for free at square.com.
Tuesdays.
I bought 51% of this business. I now control you, and I can throw you out.
Marcus Lemonis does whatever it takes to fix a failing business.
I'm 100% in charge.
You're driving along, having a perfectly nice day, when out of nowhere a pickup truck slams into your brand new car. 1 second, it wasn't there, and the next second, boom, you had your first accident. Now you have to make your first claim. So you talk to your insurance company, and boom, you're blindsided for a second time. They won't give you enough money to replace your brand new car. Don't those people know you're already shaken up?
Liberty Mutual's new car replacement will pay for the entire value of your car, plus depreciation. Call 1-888-731-2166. And for drivers with accident forgiveness, Liberty Mutual won't raise your rates due to your first accident. Switch to Liberty Mutual Insurance and you could save up to $423. Call Liberty Mutual for a free quote today at 1-888-731-2166. See car insurance in a whole new light. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
800-967-2350. The savings could really add up.
Every Monday night this fall.
What is it that produces these things?
The Weather Channel unlocks the secrets of the Earth. An all-new season starts Monday night at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 84 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, variable clouds with scattered thunderstorms. High 87. Chance of rain 50%. Tonight, thunderstorms early. Low 70. Chance of rain 80%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Now we're watching severe weather move through the D.C. area and Baltimore. You're looking at Savage, Maryland here, where the storms have been very, very dangerous. A tornado warning has been issued for the area. We've been following these storms over the last 30 minutes here. Earlier, a tornado warning was issued. We had straight line winds in excess of 55 miles an hour in Alexandria, Virginia. That particular thunderstorm moved on off to the north and east, and we're watching another. It too has prompted a tornado warning.
Yeah, you're looking at Interstate 95, the northbound lane, going in the opposite direction. So weather conditions are going to continue to go downhill. Now we show you what's happening on the radar and a lot of activity there. This is the same storm that actually moved through the D.C. area where we had a tornado warning roughly about an hour ago. Here is Interstate 95. You can see for the area as we zoom in a bit more and we lift this up to the top of your screen just a bit more so you can get a better idea. This is actually showing you 495. This is near the area of Laurel, or I should say Savage by now, and we want to add in and kind of track this out for you for the counties of Howard, cities of Savage, and we time this out for you into the future. 132 for you, Elk Ridge. This is the time for people to take cover, right, Vivian?
Yeah, let me get on this side to show you exactly where those storms are. Again, it continues to move to the north and northeast. Elk Ridge at 132. This storm should be on top of you. Again, Doppler radar is indicating a little bit of rotation, so it is more than likely that we could be talking about a tornado in the area. You can even see the little couplets starting to develop here.
Yeah, and hopefully we can lift this up a bit more to the north of the top of your screen, James B., if you can do that for me. It looks like we're seeing just a little bit of rotation just to the area, just to the southeast, or say more east of the Savage area. So say if you're on 95 or 295, this is going to be moving right into your direction. Over here is actually Baltimore, BWI, certainly areas that are also going to be impacted by this. So heads up for you, this storm is moving in your direction, moving at about a pace about 35 miles per hour.
This is a look at the actual radar, and the red encased area is the tornado warning. Again, it has been issued for Savage there, and the tornado itself, or the severe thunderstorm that is capable of producing a tornado, is moving to the northeast right into this area, right along Interstate 95. So very dangerous.
And we have a new view here of a rain burst. This is near Savage, Maryland. Now, just about maybe 45 seconds ago, a minute ago, you couldn't see any of the drivers out there. If you look real closely, you can see where sort of make out the faint impacts of the cars there. So certainly, really, this is going to be impossible to drive through. We're reporting 65-mile-per-hour winds as the storm moves over towards the east. This is an area that is heavily populated. Keep in mind, so many people are driving up and down Interstate 95. With this tornado warning in effect, millions of people are going to be impacted by this.
And the rain is coming down so heavily. The winds are very strong, too. Again, as you mentioned, Jennifer, we had reports
of the cars back again.
I know. Even we saw earlier a little debris flying in the air, too. It is very hard to see because the rain is coming down so heavily. Again, very dangerous conditions. This is between the D.C. area and Baltimore with this particular thunderstorm. Doppler radar indicating a possible tornado with it as it moves off to the northeast.
Yeah, and as we show you, there is the tornado warning. Again, as we lift this up a bit more to the top of your screen so you can kind of see a better idea where Laurel's kind of hidden behind me on the south. James B., can you lift this up a bit more so we can see more of the tornado warning that's down towards the south? If we can kind of zoom out a bit more, maybe there you have it. Okay. So again, the counties included, this is actually showing you Howard, the cities of Savage. This is until 1:30. Right now, we still have about another 8 minutes of that. As we zoom in a bit more, here it is. It's trying to make its way out of this boxed area, or I should say the red cone area. But the problem is we're still looking at incredible strong winds, even if it is not a tornado.
Yeah, the thing about it is you can see Baltimore is off to the north and east, and it is moving in the direction of the Baltimore area. So if you live anywhere on Interstate 95 between Savage and Baltimore, you need to be on the lookout for a possible tornado. Very dangerous here.
That's right, and hopefully we can loop this so you can see the possible motion of the storm. Now, keep in mind, James B., if you can put this into motion, the cities and the counties, there they are. They're included in the red, BWI. Maybe if you're trying to catch a flight out today, you're going to be needing to make sure you have a backup plan, because certainly there are going to be a lot of delays out with this tornado warning in place. Again, the same cell moved through the Washington, D.C. area, and we've had phoners and we've talked to people there where they've seen some of the damage that was left behind. But when you're talking about winds 65 miles per hour, certainly that's going to lead to some damage out there.
Services were about to take place at the Arlington National Cemetery, but they had to postpone those plans because of the very gusty winds that moved through the area. A weather alert was issued just in time for them to get out of harm's way. But we're watching this same thunderstorm again move off to the north and northeast. Now, Baltimore, you are in the direct path of this possible tornado. Again, it is a very strong thunderstorm that's capable of producing a tornado.
And you can see by the camera there that it's being blown around by the stronger winds there. And pointing out, this is Interstate 95, MD 175. This is actually looking north, so the worst is still behind that. So if you're seeing that the camera is blowing around, certainly going to have some damage out there. And again, you can almost barely make out the cars there. Again, here's a live view of the radar. Again, tornado warnings continue until 1:30. All we can say, it's time for you to take cover. If you're in your car, you certainly need to be aware of this. If you know your loved ones are out on the roadways, you may want to phone them and give them a call and let them know what's going on.
Yeah, we do want to point out that a tornado warning means that either a tornado has been sighted in terms of a funnel cloud, or it's been indicated on Doppler radar. In this instance, it's Doppler radar indicated, again, with some of the winds coming to the radar and some of them going away from the radar, indicating a little rotation, but very significant here. Savage, you're under a tornado warning. That's the county of Howard, and this particular thunderstorm is moving right along Interstate 95 between D.C. and Baltimore. So if you know someone that's perhaps traveling on 95, then you need to let them know that they are definitely in harm's way. way heading toward the Baltimore area.
Okay, in addition to the tornado warning out there, just look what's up towards the north. We're talking 40 on 99 for Eldersburg. You are being hammered right now with the cell moving through you as well. So while you're not warned, but look at this, anywhere you're seeing out there, we're going to be looking at some of those stronger winds out there for you. That's north of Clarksville up towards Eldersburg. And again, as we put this into motion so you can kind of see the general track of this, it's going to be making its way over towards parts of the east, moving at a pace at about 35 miles per hour. So it's going to really kind of follow you up and down Interstate 95.
Okay. The severe storms are moving to the northeast, and a number of power outages are going to start rising, of course. So on the phone now, we have Marcus Beal with the PEPCO, the utilities department there. And Marcus, can you tell us what you're seeing right now?
Sure. So we had a number of strong winds and definitely heavy rain right now, but we're not seeing too many outages at this point related to the storm. So, again, we're just going to stay prepared, warn our customers to try to remain safe and keep our crews ready to respond as soon as we see any outages.
Yeah, and we've already seen reports of some damage coming out of the D.C. area. Are you yourselves hearing about any damages? Are you getting any reports of any power lines coming in yet or anything like that?
We have a few lines down right now in our PEPCO Maryland service territory, so that's affecting roughly about 1,300 customers right now. But overall, across our service territory, we're looking pretty good.
What exactly are you seeing right now, the current conditions?
Just heavy downpours right now outside of my office, and it looks pretty windy out there. But our crews are, they're prepared for this sort of thing, and as long as the winds stay below 35 miles per hour, then they can go ahead and work their restoration work.
Yeah, we're looking at live pictures on Interstate 95, and it looks as though, we can tell that the rain is falling very heavily, but you haven't gotten any reports of any accidents or anything?
No, nothing major at this time.
Okay, thank you. Again, that is Marcus Beal, PEPCO spokesman. Of course, we don't want to hear about any power outages, but when you're looking at winds, certainly up to about 65 miles per hour, we're certainly going to be looking like this. And again, the same cold front that we are tracking with the severe weather for this October severe weather outbreak, it's had a history of already producing damage out there, as well as already proven to be deadly. We do have reports of 2 people who were killed down in the south, as well as 25 confirmed tornadoes. And right now, we're looking at another threat for severe weather across parts of the mid-Atlantic region, as well as moving into the northeast. Now we continue with this tornado warning for roughly about another minute and 30 seconds. That's when the tornado warning is expected to expire. And now we're looking at the interstate, and this is actually Interstate 695, and conditions there look a lot better than they did in some of the other locations that we've seen just recently.
And as you mentioned, Jennifer, even if we don't get a tornado, we talk about the very heavy rain and the windy conditions, and that's going to make ponding on the roadways. But even though it looks okay in this shot right now, things will be going downhill.
Yeah, that's right. That is in Catonsville, and that is in Maryland. And so you are Catonsville, and so you are getting some early warnings, because as we take you back over, hopefully, Marnie, you can take us back over to our wall over here. This is Savage right there. And right now, it doesn't look like we're seeing much in the form of rotation, but this is Catonsville. This is 95. So we are warning you ahead of this storm, so that way you know this is heading in your direction. As we put this into motion, kind of show you exactly what's going on, so you can kind of get the idea of where it's going to be tracking. It's moving in that east, northeasterly direction. So if you're along 40 into Catonsville or into Pikesville, you have some heavy warnings that are going to be moving into your direction potentially, because this already had a tornado warning out of the D.C. area. And Baltimore, right now, you are quiet, but you're going downhill.
Yes, absolutely. It is a tornado warning, but this is Doppler indicated, meaning that we haven't seen any funnel clouds or anything. But a lot of times when you have the heavy rain like this, you don't get to see the funnel clouds because it's so rain wrapped. But we want you to know that there is a possibility of some tornadoes here. Nonetheless, very heavy rain and straight line winds we have officially had reports of.
Okay, that's right. And it looks like, is the tornado warning still in effect right now? This is 1:30. Are they extending that by chance? Maybe our weather, they did let it expire. And again, we just showed you, and it has weakened. but we are still looking at some strong winds out there. Again, moving out of the area of Savage and then heads up for you into Catonsville, as well as right along 95 into the Baltimore region.
All right, so be on the lookout, Baltimore. All the storms are coming in from your south and west here as we continue to follow them. Again, they have the history of producing 50 to 60 mile per hour winds as they move through the area. Very, very dangerous lightning strikes we've had reports of as well. You're looking at Catonsville, Maryland now, and you're kind of on the leading edge of the whole storms as they come in from the south and west. And as they move into your area, conditions will definitely be going downhill here.
All right, so we are still looking at this storm, and it has a history of 50 mile per hour winds. We look at cells. Now, right now, we don't have that tornado warning out there, but we're still looking at heavy storms just moving through the Columbia area, just south of 695. So heads up for you. Again, for Westminster, we're coming through there, right through Caucusville, right up near 83. Lisbon, you just saw that cell move through there. But for Aberdeen, as well as into Baltimore, we're going to continue to see that cell moving over towards the east. So right now, no more warnings out there, but it doesn't mean that can't happen, as we are still looking at the cold front making its way over from west to east. This is going to kick out the bad weather out there. In addition to the tornado warnings out there, we're going to be looking at the potential of damaging winds as well as heavy downpours. And in addition to that, flash flooding, because when you look at the radar and you see some of these pockets indicating the orange and the red, that shows you where the rainfall is coming down in tremendous amount.
And at the height of the storm, we did have reports of winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. So still watching these storms. It is still a very dangerous scenario. Again, Baltimore, as you can see, just off to your west, we have some very heavy rain and even still some dangerous lightning strikes being reported here. Baltimore in the downtown area reporting overcast conditions, but within the next 30 minutes, I'm sure the heavy rain and the gusty winds will be a factor.
Yeah, and then hopefully maybe our producer James can do this for us. Can you track this out and tell us how long it's going to take for it to get into the Baltimore area, as we're seeing these storms moving at a pace about 35 miles per hour, looking at 70. So I'd say it's probably going to be there in roughly, we're looking at about 40 minutes away from the Ellicott City area, but we're still trying to find out for the Baltimore area, maybe closer to BWI 295 as well. And it looks like 20 minutes, 152 for the Baltimore area, and then 155 for Annapolis.
All right, well, let's bring in our severe weather expert, Dr. Greg Forbes, who's been following these storms as well. Dr. Forbes, what's the latest?
Well, we've lost our tornado warning. Still a bow echo that's heading up into the Baltimore area. So this is the kind of thing that could spin up circulations again. Here is the situation. Right over here is the Baltimore metro area. The circulation that's had tornadoes at times has been on the tail end of this bow echo. Now, I'll show you right at the moment. I'll circle this big area that's heading up toward or past Ellicott City up toward the Woodlawn area. I'll show you the storm relative velocities on this. And it's not very strong. Normally, we'd be looking for a lot stronger version of reds coming in here. We have some greens, but we don't have that couplet. What we do have is a little bit of a circulation showing up here when we quantify that, so the tornado could be there. And as of a couple minutes ago, we were still seeing one little speck. Can you see that wee little blue speck in there? So this appears that there may have been some debris, some damage that's been caused a little bit downstream that may be still being carried aloft with the circulation of the storm. I'm going to go back here now and step back in time 5 minutes prior to this, when the storm had just moved out of the tornado warning. Here you see a little bit better of a little appendage coming down in here. So we'll go back and take a look at that one 5 minutes ago. The storm relative velocities still not real strong in there, but the normalized rotation also had that blue area that's showing that there was some rotation. The correlation coefficient to debris signature here again showed this spot that